Hello, Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Dear students, last time we have taken the topic Nazism and rise of Hitler. Due to time constraint, 10 minutes, we could not complete the class. Now let's move forward. In the last class, we had studied what actually Nazism means, what totalitarianism means, what are its various forms, what was it called in Italy, in Germany, in Japan, and what were the factors which give rise to the totalitarianism, and what were the causes which give rise to Nazism in Germany. And let's discuss about what were the policies, what it mean Nazism. Broadly, if we will talk of Nazi policy, we can divide its policies in two components. One is domestic policy, and another is foreign policy. Both these domestic and foreign policies were clearly elucidated by Hitler, rather mentioned by Hitler in his book Mein Kampf, which he has written while he was in jail. When he first time in early 1920s, he tried to usurp the power. And let's discuss what actually those policies were. Domestic policy, it had main these components. That is national unity, eradication of the hostile elements. Third was economic reform. Fourth was education reform, and fifth was military reform. Let's discuss them one by one. What actually they stand for. Nationalist unity. See, Hitler believed that uh, nationalist unity is compulsory. He believed that these Germans were scattered throughout the Europe. So first of all, he deemed it necessary that they all should be bought within one ambit, and only then it will be possible to cover rule over the whole world. He believed that these Germans belonged to Nazi race, and say they belong to Aryan race, and he believed that Aryans were the superior race among in the world, and Almighty had bestowed them with the powers to rule over whole universe. In my 10th class, I had seen we had a cartoon on our book which depicted clearly Hitler staying on the above globe with chain. He had chained whole of the globe, and that's in nationalist policy. Second is eradication of hostile elements. See, Hitler, he believed that Jews were the main cause of the misery of this Germany. Hitler himself had participated in World War First. He said that, and during his propaganda, he says that Jews were mainly responsible that who they tarnished the image of Germany and they betrayed their country. So all the Jews within the country, they should uh, be dealt with for their misdeeds. Second is communist. One of the reason which was responsible for Nazis to groom that was they were against communists because they deemed that they uh, dilute the authority of this state, so they should be dealt with stern power. Third is economic reform. See, he did a commendable job in economic sector. He during the post World War First era and during the global depression of the world, this unemployment has risen to unprecedented limits in the Germany. So Hitler tried his level best to do away with that trend. What he did various positive things. Some of them were not worth to mention, like he expelled all the Jews and women. He said that Jews are not worth to believe, and women, they are domestic. Their job is only to do domestic work, so they should not be part of the economic life outside their home. On the other side, he did very well job in the economic sector. He created various job opportunities in his country. He introduced 5-year planning in his country. Fifth is education reform. He did a commendable job also in education sector. He revised the syllabus which was already there in action. All those teachers which were anti-sentiment, anti-national, they were sternly dealt with, and he did also various military reforms in country. He did various military. Sixth element of the domestic policy was anti-Semitism. He was anti-Semitic, means against Jews. He was very, that already we have defined. He want to eradicate the hostile element. And the sixth point is that he want to give strict punishment to the Jews, and that is called, if somebody is against Jews, he is called he is anti-Semitic. So his anti-Semitic program that was broadly well established. It includes a well-established procedure, and that includes all these three steps: exclusion, Gothization, and annihilation. Exclusion means this exclusion, it started from 1933 to 1939. It's not different that there will not be overlap between these two. If we see Gothization 1940 to 41, but annihilation, it's not that one will be complete and next step will be followed. They can overlap with one another. Exclusion means in during this period, during 1933 to 1940, it was believed that these Jews have no right to live as citizens. As citizens, they can live in Germany, but not as citizens. Their citizenship was snatched. They were deprived of their citizenship, and various atrocities were inflicted on them, like they were not supposed to get the university education. They had to live in separate parts in the class. They were not given right to get employment, and all this means exclusion. Second means Gothization. It was the extreme step of this. It was started from 1940 to 41. It was like exclusion, but exclusion at its peak. And during this stage, they were told that you have no right to live among us. If you want to live in Germany, you have to live in separate quarters. They were then sent to those concentration camps where they were only Germans, these Jews could live. They were led to face severe atrocities, which we cannot pen down in words. We have no words to express the atrocities, because various Hollywood movies have been made on these issues, and they are very dreadful. The last stage was annihilation. Annihilation means you have no right to live. They were mm, sent to gas chambers, and they were killed. This is the step which includes anti-Semitism. And second stage is foreign policy. We have discussed domestic policy. Now let us move on. What's foreign policy? See, he want to unite all the people of Germany, that we have already discussed. Second stage is repudiation of the peace settlement. They deemed that the peace treaty, Versailles peace treaty, which had piled a lot of humiliation on Germany, which had increased their economic miseries, that was responsible for all this treaty of Versailles. So Hitler vehemently opposed it and said that we repudiate this settlement, we don't follow this peace settlement. They repudiated all its provisions, like they had not to maintain a standing army of more than 10,000. They had not to have an air force or navy. They kept it. Rhine Valley was segregated from them, which was given to other countries. They have begun to hold it back. So in every respect, they repudiated its provisions. The third is more territory for growing population. Since their program was to unify all the Germans, it was not possible that in Germany they will bring all Germans there and will. It was not possible for this growing population to meet their demands. For that, he attacked various countries like Yugoslavia, Poland. He attacked in 1939. He attacked Russia, and he attacked other countries. But one of his biggest blunder was that even though he had signed a virtual peace treaty with Germany, but he committed a great mistake. He attacked Germany and other allies of the Germany. They all attacked Germany, and in 1945, out of the compulsion, Hitler committed suicide. Germany was then again divided into East Germany and West Germany, and Nazism was buried forever. Hope you have understood it. Inshallah, your comments are awaited, and I will accordingly try to rectify my mistakes.